Life with Tao. Life is a festival, a celebration. Indeed, life is a festival, a celebration. But how many people know life as a festival or a celebration? For most of us, life is boredom. I have heard once it happened in a church that after a very long, dry sermon, the minister announced there was a sermon, long, dry. And usually such sermons are like that, of that nature. The minister announced that there would be a meeting, a brief meeting of the board, spelled B-O-A-R-D, board, right after the benediction. After the service, a stranger approached the minister. He was the first man. The minister thought, there has been some misunderstanding because the man was absolutely a stranger. He did not look like a Christian. His appearance was that he was coming from another community. So the minister said, it seems you have misunderstood the announcement. There is going to be a meeting of the board. Normally, every organization, church, they have a board of directors. And from time to time, they have the board meeting. So the minister announced that after the benediction, there will be a board meeting. But the man approached the minister. So the minister thought the person who looked like a stranger, that he did not understood what is meant by meeting of the board. There is going to be a meeting of the board. That was the announcement. The stranger said, so I have also heard. And if there is someone, I have heard, there will be a meeting of the board. But what he understood, what the minister said, the word was spelled B-O-A-R-D. What the man understood, B-O-R-E-D, board. The stranger said, so I have also heard. And if there is someone here more bored than me, then I would like to meet him. The minister said, there is a difference. What minister said and what the stranger understood. The stranger said, so I have also heard, and if there is someone more bored, B-O-R-E-D, bored, than me, then I would like to meet him. But this seems to be the situation of each one of us. Look at the people, look at their faces, and if you look at your face in the mirror, you will feel you are most bored person in life. And it seems impossible that there can be someone also who is more bored than you, because we all consider ourselves to the bored person. The whole life seems to be a long boredom, dry, dreary, meaningless. somehow you are carrying it as a burden. Before you enter into experience something deep within, look at yourself, introspect. Was your life a celebration, a festival, or it was simply a boredom, a dry, dreary, meaningless life where never spring came, flowers never blossomed? Why has this happened? Life is not meant to be a boredom. Life is meant not to be a suffering. Life is a festival, a celebration, a peak of joy. But that is only in poetry, in dreams, in philosophies. Sometimes a Buddha, a Krishna, a Christ appears to be in deep celebration, and they look like exceptions far apart. Really celebration, really unbelievable, not real, just an ideal situation. It seems they never happen. These are simply the wish fulfillments, myths, dreams, and hopes, but not reality that life can be a festival. Life can be a celebration. And you never thought that you will live life as a constant celebration, as a constant blossoming. Each moment flowers are blossoming. It is a festival of lights. It is a festival of joy, a festival of myriad opportunities. Each moment, life is an opportunity to celebrate. The reality seems to be our face, bold, in anguish, and with suffering impressed upon it. The whole life is just like carrying on somehow. You are just carrying a burden on your shoulders. Introspect. Is it not true? Was it not the way you were living your life, carrying a dead corpse on your shoulders? Why has this happened? And this must not be the basic reality of life. It cannot be. Because this happens only to man. The trees, the stars, the animals, the birds, the plants. Nowhere else does this happen except for man. No one else is bored. Trees are not bored. You say that life is boring, every day the same thing. You feel bored that every day you are eating the same food, carrying on the same routine. But does it not happen with the plant? Does it not happen with a star? Every day the same story goes on. But you feel bored because every day you get up in the morning, do the routine, and then you go to work, come back, do the same thing. Nowhere does this happen except for man. No one else is bored. And even if sometimes pain happens, it is momentary. It never becomes. First, it is the beginning of pain. Then, if the pain continues, it becomes anguish. It never becomes a constant obsession. It is not always on the mind. It is a momentary thing, an accident. It is not carried over. But you had been carrying it for long. The anguish, the boredom, the dead face. And now you look at the face, there is a glow. There may be occasional moments of pain, but the pain has not become anguish. Animals can be in pain, but they are not in suffering. There is a difference between pain and suffering. Pain looks like an accident and you can get it over. They do not carry it. It does not become a wound. When pain becomes a wound, then it's a different story. It does not become a wound. It is forgotten and forgiven. It goes into the past. It never becomes the part of the present and moves into the future. When pain becomes a constant thing, a wound, it is no more an accident but a reality, essential, as if you cannot exist without it. Then it becomes a problem, it becomes an anguish, and that problem has arisen only for human mind. Introspect your life. The wounds you have inflicted in your life, didn't they become the pain that you have inflicted, experienced in your life, in your relationship? Were they mere accidental? Or you are carrying them on your shoulders? You had been carrying it on your shoulders for a long time. The face looks dull, not alive. And this has become the cause of your anguish. But the moment you understand nature, there is a change. The pain, the anguish is no more anguish now. The wounds have been healed. The inner wounds, the wounds arising, caused by relationships, wrong understanding, etc. Trees are not suffering. There seems to be no anguish. Not that death does not happen to them. A flower does not seem to be in anguish because it blossoms in the morning. By the time it is blossomed, it's a process of withering begins, and then there are flowers that are, because Jesus says, look at the lilies, they are more beautiful. They blossom in the morning, by evening they wither away. Not that death does not happen to them. Death occurs, but it is not a problem. Not that painful experiences are not there. They are there, but they do not become life itself. But in your case, the painful moments have become the part of your life, just on the periphery. But in case it should remain just on the periphery, they happen and they disappear. Deep down at the inner core, life remains celebrating. Just like you live your life, I also live my life. A Buddha lives his life. He does everything that you need to do. What the way he does it is different. And that makes a difference in the results as well. Pain is there, problems arise, but they only remain on the periphery. They come and go. With deep trust in existence, they come and go, but life within, at the center, remains celebrating. A tree goes on celebrating in myriad ways. Death will happen, but it happens only once. It is not carried over constantly, except for man. Everything is in a festive mood. Only man is bored. Boredom is the human phenomenon. The word, have you ever heard or seen any animal bored? Dogs doing the same routine work. Have you seen anything bored? Any trace of boredom in them? What has gone wrong? Something must have gone wrong basically. And the moment you understand this, you move into a different dimension of life. In a way, this can be a good sign also. Boredom is human. You can define the human being through boredom, the degrees of the boredom. Aristotle has defined the human being as rational. Rational means degrees differ. They may not be exactly true. That may not be exactly true, but it is not 100%. It is not 100% true because the difference is only of degrees. So it's not that there are different degrees of rationality. It is not 100% true because the difference is of degrees. Animals are also rational, less rational, but not absolutely irrational. There are animals which are just below the human mind. They too are rational in their own way, not as much as man is, but not completely devoid of the reason. The difference is only of degrees. Man cannot be defined by reason alone, but through boredom, you can define him. He is the only bored animal. You can say that today I am bored, but I am more bored on the public holidays. You are more bored when your internet is not working, phone service is not on, you are more bored. And this boredom has come to such a climax that man can commit suicide also. Only man can commit suicide. No animal commits suicide. That is an absolutely, suicide is an absolutely human phenomenon. When boredom comes to such a point that even hope becomes impossible, then you drop dead by yourself. Because then there is no sense of carrying it all. Many times You have experienced the moments of boredom, and boredom reached to such a point that all hopes became impossible, as if there is no hope for you now. You can carry this boredom, this pain, because somewhere the tomorrow is yet hopeful. This is bad today, but tomorrow something will happen. This relationship has been a boredom, a pain, an anguish, a suffering. Something may begin, may come tomorrow. I have heard once it happened. One Chinese emperor sentenced one of his ministers to death. The day the prime minister was to be hanged, the emperor came to see him to say him goodbye. He had been his devoted servant for many, many years, but he had done something which irritated the emperor so much that he had sentenced him to death. But remembering that it was going to be his last day, the emperor came to meet him. When emperor came, he saw the minister crying. Tears were rolling down his cheeks. He could not imagine that death could be the cause, because he was such a brave man. So he asked, "It is impossible to imagine that you are crying because you are going to die this evening. It is impossible to conceive that a man, a courageous, a brave man like you is crying. You are a brave man, and I have known your bravery so many times. So it must be something else. What it is? What is it? I can do something. I would like to do something if I can." The minister said, "Now nothing can be done, and it is of no use to say to you. But if you insist, then I am still your servant. I will obey you and tell you." The emperor insisted. So the minister said, "It is not my death, because that is not of much importance. Man has to die one day, and any day can be the day of death. I am weeping because I have seen your horse standing outside. I am crying because I have seen your horse standing outside." The emperor asked, "Because of the horse? Why?" The minister said, "I was looking for my whole life this type of horse, because I have learned one ancient secret, that I can teach horses to fly, but only of a particular type. This is the type, and this is my last day. Your horse is of the type who I can teach how to fly. Today is my last day. I was not worried about my death, but just that one ancient art will be lost with me. That is why I am sad, I am crying." The emperor was thrilled, excited. If the horse could fly, it would be something. So he said, How many days it will take? The minister replied, at least 1 year, and then the horse will start flying. So the emperor said, okay, for 1 year I will make you free, but remember, if in 1 year the horse is not flying, you will be again sentenced and hanged. But if the horse is flying, you will be forgiven. And not only forgiven, I will give you half of my kingdom, because I will be the first emperor in the history who has a flying horse. So come out of the prison and do not cry. The minister rode, happy and laughing, on the horse to his house. But the wife was still crying, and she said, I have heard the news. I have heard. The news has reached you before, but 1 year only, the wife lamented. And I know you know no art, and this horse cannot fly. That is just a trick, a deception. So if you could ask for 1 year, why could not ask for 10 years? The minister said, that would be too much. As it is already too much. The horse flying is already too much. Then asking for 10 years would be absolutely a trick. But don't cry. But the wife said, it makes me still more sad, and now I will be flying with you. After 1 year you will be hanged. This 1 year is going to be a suffering. The Prime Minister said, now I'll tell you one ancient secret. I will tell you an ancient secret you do not know. In this 1 year, the king will die. The horse can die. I can die. Who knows what will happen? 1 year is a long time. The king can die. I can die. The horse can die. The horse can learn to fly 1 year. Just hope. And this is the situation of the man. The man lives through hope because he is so bored. When boredom comes to a point where you cannot hope, when hopelessness is absolute, you commit suicide. Boredom and suicide are both human phenomena. Animals cannot commit suicide, no trees commit suicide. Why has this happened? And what is the reason behind it? Has man forgotten completely how to live? How to celebrate? How to be festive? While the whole existence is celebrating, whole existence is festive, how can man created this sad milieu around him? The whole existence is celebrating, the animals, the plants, the rivers, the mountains. But man, how has he created this sad milieu around him? Introspect. How have you created this sad milieu around you, that your life up to now was boredom. Enough for now.